Hello everybody, Drew here for Drewdak Games. Welcome to whatever number episode this is. I think number 3 of the D&G show.
Yep, number 3.
Joining me as usual via PlayStation Network Party Chat is my good friend Gucci. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great.
As you guys can see by the title of this, I don't know what the fuck it is yet. But you guys obviously know because you clicked on it and you saw the thumbnail. But obviously, this is basically, for lack of a better term, Gucci's idea for a game that either he would like to try to get made one day. Now, Gucci is a guy who doesn't work for a game publisher or developer. He's just an average guy like I am. But he would like to try to do this at some point in the future. And if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. Right?
Right. Also, if anybody who's listening to this feels that this is a game to play or a scene, you can leave on the comments below what game it is and you'd like to try it out.
Yeah, we would like to play it. Now, before I go any further, I will say this, that at the end of the video, I'm going to get Gucci's reaction to some news that has broken in regards to gaming recently at the end of the video, after we get done talking about all of this. But with that said, for lack of a better name, this is basically Project, what is it again?
Project In Deep, which is what the game is going to be called.
Well, that's what you want to call it if you can make it. So, Project In Deep, this is Gucci's thing that I'm just allowing him to do on the channel at this point on our once a month thing. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this. Hit the like and everything like that. And so Gucci, the floor is yours. What do you have for your idea?
Well, basically my idea is this. You start out with 3 countries that are made up, and we have the Elder Empire, which is sort of like Europe, but it's different because it's only one country, and Europe is a whole bunch of different countries together. And then we have the United Islands. They're basically like Great Britain, and they're basically your ally in the beginning. And then we have the Eastern Union, which is basically the U.S., for lack of a better term.
Although the names would suggest that you have that a little mixed up.
Well, yes, correct. With the Eastern Union in the east of Elder Empire instead of west of Elder Europe, or Elder Empire.
Yeah, and then the United Islands suggests that might be like an island, a series of islands that represents the United States in this universe.
Right.
Type of thing, but either way, that's just my commentary based on the names alone. So, but it is what it is.
Very welcome.
So, carry on.
Yeah, so we got Eastern Union, United Islands, and Elder Empire.
Yeah.
And basically what has happened is there are 3 parties involved here. There's the High Elder, which are basically people that believe in God. Let me just look here. Chia. They believe in the god Chia, and they follow what their version of the good book is. But they're not necessarily evil. They're actually pretty good people in their land. But the agents of the free, which is what you are in the game, are more open to different type of beliefs.
And this being the faction, the one you're talking about now, being the faction that the main player of the game is a part of to start with. Okay.
And then we have the Free High, which are basically High Elders, but they're more inclined to be connected to the agents of the Free. Does that make sense?
Sure, considering that this is basically your Star Wars to George Lucas here.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is basically all coming out of your head, and all you did with me was ask for ideas for names of shit.
Yeah.
So basically, any names that you hear largely came from me, but it is what it is. And that's and that's all that I'm involved with. It's just naming shit here.
Yeah, and I'd like your input on whatever I talk about here, because I'd
Yeah.
like some feedback.
Yeah.
Just general chit chat. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, what happened in Elder Empire is that the Emperor of High Elder, which is Vici.
That's basically the ruler of the empire in this universe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Vici has taken power over Elder Empire, and you've gotten wind of this from your ally in Elder Empire, from Free High, and she was running against Vici, but she was kicked basically out of the government. And Elder Empire has attacked United Islands, and this has drawn you into a war with the Elder Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, your friend in the military, who's a High Elder, needs to go in, and what has happened is they've started rounding up people into death camps, and you have to go in and free those death camps.
So basically, the group. Correct me if I'm wrong. The group going to war with the other empire isn't the government of one of the other two nations. It's like a group of like rebels, then, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's basically the free agents of United Eastern Union, basically.
So basically, it's basically like a black ops team from that country, then, but they're not. They're representing that nation, then, right?
Well, technically they are, because they hold the majority of.
This is starting to sound like a Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War RPG type of thing now.
Yeah, kinda. But I was having it more free based than a streamlined
First person shooter
storyline.
thing. This probably being more like a third person action shooter, melee, whatever you decide to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And basically, what you're doing is you're going into Elder Empire and trying to shut down the death camps that they've set up, and trying to get the Free High back into power in Elder Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you do that, because you get there and you do that, but here's the thing. The people in Eastern Union who are loyal to Vici don't like this, because you've basically kicked Vici out of Elder Empire after going in and taking care of the death camps.
Yeah.
And basically, they storm the capital and take it over, and you have to get back to United Islands to basically get out of a coup that has happened in Eastern Union.
Hmm.
And you have to send your army buddy from from the High Elder and his unit back over to Eastern Union to try and get control again of Eastern Union.
Now, I just want to bring up that Grand Theft Auto 5 had a 3 protagonist thing. Is this thing just have one protagonist or multiple that you play as? Do you understand what I'm asking? Gucci, are you still there?
Yeah, I want to say it's
So,
it's sort of
so basically, you're gonna have a main character that you start with, right?
right.
Now, the way you're describing sending your friend over to deal with this other thing, are you gonna have to control him during that time, or?
Yes,
Okay, so then basically, it is a little like Grand Theft Auto 5 that you will control multiple characters.
right.
Okay.
And you'll have to,
I,
and
I,
you'll have,
I just wanted to clarify that one thing.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And also, you'll have to deal with talking to politicians and whatnot within your cabinet and within the House and Senate to try to get them on board to getting over to Elder Empire to shut it down.
Yeah.
Because basically, you have a split House and Senate, and some want to go over there and shut down Elder Empire, and some are like, they don't not want to have the Elder Empire, but they're like, we don't want to go to war. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically this sounds like a Mr. Smith goes to Washington type of thing, in that that a hero rises up, says, "Fine, you don't want to do this, fine. I'll grab some of my friends and we'll go over. Fuck it." Type of
Yeah,
thing.
very much. Yeah.
You guys can sit on your ass and do what you always do. Insert politics in America in 2021 joke here. And then we'll go do something while you sit here and just talk about it like you always do, instead of actually doing something.
Mhm. But eventually, I want to be able to rally the politicians into actually doing something,
Yeah.
which will make it so the people that are loyal to Vichy want to storm the Capitol and take it over.
What if something drastic has to happen within the storyline of the game, and that, like, the Emperor or whoever,
Vichy?
yeah, gives a speech like amongst like the Elder Council, which is supposed to be what I thought was his like his Senate kind of thing,
Right.
for lack of a better term. And while he's giving his speech, he has his men just basically assassinate the entire Senate.
Right.
And
basically
that
what
being the
happens is,
driving force that drives everyone to want to get him out or gone or
right.
whatever type of thing.
And not all of them get assassinated, because a lot of them sneak out and go into like the fields and whatnot to try to have a sort of like a rebel alliance almost.
So let's say that some of them survived because either someone close to the Emperor let it leak that that was going to happen, or some of them just didn't trust the Emperor enough to not get too close
Right.
during the speech and stay kind of near the doors, kind of thing, to get out.
Right.
You could go either way with that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Which one? The spy or the people just not trusting him, so they stay near the door?
I think both.
Well, that would lead to a couple extra people, then you probably had planned surviving then.
Yeah.
But either way, next.
Well, eventually, what has happened since you shut down the death camps, if you get that far in the game,
Yeah.
but if you do, you shut down the death camps. But like I said, Eastern Union's taken over. You have to get out of Eastern Union and head to United Islands, and then you have to eventually retake control of Eastern Union, and you have allies within Eastern Union that are working towards regaining power. But eventually, what's going to happen, I think, is eventually what Elder Empire and Eastern Union and United Islands all become good guys again. And
Yeah.
eventually, what's going to happen, and just play this out, that we'll have sort of ID4 happen.
Mm-hmm.
And aliens will come in and try to take over the planet.
And that being like a DLC or something.
Right.
Type of thing.
Because I kind of want this game to evolve and keep going instead of just ending. Because personally, I don't like games that end.
Instead of releasing like sequels and whatnot, just one game, just constantly updated, just constantly add new stuff. And if need be, just release it like on a next gen console with like a few minor updates to graphics and shit. Type of thing.
And update content too.
Obviously. But the only question left is what would be the leveling system? Because I picture like the only thing that works best is a combination of Fallout and Elder Scrolls leveling systems.
I was thinking you'd level with the fighting and you level with the talking too. Does that make sense?
In that, when you talk to someone, your skill would increase a little bit just by doing that in the game.
Right.
So, for example, if you're using a gun in the game, your skill with like whatever type of gun that is would increase by actually doing that. Kind of like in the Elder Scrolls series, that being Skyrim and Oblivion.
Right.
And then as soon as you level up, I honestly hate having to sleep to level up your character. Just go into the pause menu and just do it like most games. That's the preferred way.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. And then manual auto saves and all of that come to expecting games. That type of thing.
And I plan to have this a little like oh god. Well, what I eventually want to have happen, especially with the DLCs, I want to be able to bring in different planets and
that sounds like it's only going to be growing exponentially.
Yeah. That's why I plan to have it.
Well, don't pull a No Man's Sky and promise too much, you know.
Right.
Just promise the bare minimum and then just increase from there.
Yeah.
And then, if you wind up over and deliver on the bare minimum that you promised, well, you're only going to look good.
Right.
Because you can't look bad in like giving more than you had promised it initially, even though you promised very little.
Right.
Type of thing.
And I just want to keep expanding the game because, like I said, I don't like games that end.
Well, I do to a degree because I'm a single-player gamer myself, so... Because that means I can finally get on to the next thing in my backlog, but if a game that never ends, I'm never getting to anything else. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't care for games that never ends. I don't care for Destiny 2. I haven't really played it yet, because I got a shit ton of shit to play still. I even haven't even started playing Bravely Default yet for the Switch, and that came out like almost a month ago, maybe now. Still
Yeah.
haven't started playing it
Bas-
yet.
Basically, what I want this to become is a constantly updated RPG that maybe you pay like $5 for a month to get the DLC and to get the new game when if we make a new game out of it,
Yeah.
and we won't charge you any more than what, $5? Does that sound good?
Yeah, and then the base game is just free to play. Yeah,
Right.
type of thing. Yeah, that does sound very interesting for a pay model at least. You're not
And
going to make EA money, but then again, the idea I don't think is to make billions of dollars. It's just to sustain the game,
right.
basically. Because that would be the only project you'd be doing is just this game if you wind up getting to make it someday.
Well, I'd also like to make other games too. So
Well, either way,
yep.
it is what it is. So
So how are we doing on time, Drew?
it's only about 22 minutes almost. So we got plenty of
Alright.
time to talk about other things now that will have a
Yeah.
bearing on you. So basically, that's Project. What's it called?
Project Indeed.
Project In Deep, a game that Gucci would like to, or well, an idea for a game that my friend here, Gucci, whom is not on social media in any way, shape, or form, so don't bother looking for him. He's
Also,
just
if
an average gamer and, no, well, a casual gamer, I guess I should call you, right?
right.
Yeah, so.
Also, also if this sounds like a game you played, or if you end up creating it someday, just leave us name of it and whatever on the chat screen, and we'll pick it up.
Yeah, just comment it down below and we'll look into it. And if we can play it, then we're gonna try to, because I'm on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. I can go play whatever. So
Yes.
the only way Gucci can really play is on PlayStation.
Well, I have Steam too, so I can play
Well,
it there.
okay, Steam, fine.
Yeah.
Killjoy. Anyway,
So you ready to talk baseball?
well, I'm ready to talk headlines that mean something to you. Let's see what I got here. Oh, well, considering that you've played Skyrim before, this will mean something, at least a little to you. The Bethesda slash Microsoft deal is now official. Bethesda is now officially owned by Microsoft. That went through
Yeah.
about a month ago. It's now completely official. It's a done deal. It's signed. It's in ink. It's in contract now. And with that, basically every game that Bethesda has published, with the exception of Fallout 3, is now on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, so. And coincidentally,
Yeah.
that means that Microsoft has also, with that announcement, also announced that Bethesda games, outside of what deals had already been made before the buyout of ZeniMax Online, Bethesda's parent company, are in fact going to be exclusive to wherever Game Pass is from Microsoft, that being PC or Xbox.
So will no longer be on PS4 or 5?
Basically, yeah. Outside of Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, I think it's called, those are timed exclusives to PlayStation because those deals had already been made like a year or two ago. So,
Well, that sucks.
well, Microsoft needs exclusives, so for Microsoft's brand, this is big and good.
But I have a lot of friends who are on PS4 that love those games.
Yeah, I have played them on PlayStation before, but then again, like I said, considering how many platforms I play on, has no bearing on me, but yeah. But
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that news.
another shitty thing for Sony, and I have not spoken of this on camera yet. Sony evidently will be shutting down the digital storefronts on PS3, the Vita, and the PSP come July 2nd of this year.
Yeah, I also got wind of that, and I'm like, well, how many
Now,
people actually still have their PS3s?
yeah, but what this means is that Sony clearly does not care about old game preservation.
Pretty much.
Meanwhile, Microsoft continues to roll out backwards compatibility for original Xbox 360 and Xbox One games on their latest hardware. So, seems like Microsoft and PC are the only, i.e., Steam, are the only places where game preservation, mostly Xbox, seems to matter. And,
Well,
uh, what?
well, I think most gamers are going to be switching to Xbox now because of that.
Well, I can tell you this, that going into the launch of the PS5 and the Series X, I wanted an Xbox Series X more than I would have ever wanted a PS5 anyway. Hence why I canceled the pre-order of the PS5 and was trying to get an Xbox. Still hasn't happened yet. So I was already here long before anyone else is showing up for Xbox at this point. You can even make a case that I was already here when I got my original Xbox One that I had gotten back in 2017. Long before anything good was ever happening.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Also, something else you might be interested in. Microsoft rumored to be trying, and it's rumor only, this is not confirmed, but rumored that trying to get Ubisoft Plus as a part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, that being Ubisoft's collection of games. That being Assassin's Creed, The Division, and Far Cry, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, Sony doesn't give a shit to actually compete with PlayStation Now with Game Pass. And Microsoft is just going, well, we got all this, but we want more in here to make it even more valuable.
Which is a plus for Microsoft.
And for anyone who supports their platform. So any gamer that's already on Xbox. Hi, folks. And why am I wearing PlayStation shit right now?
Yeah. Also, are they thinking of changing the model of the Xbox S to something slimmer than the tower, or are they going to stick with the tower?
I don't know anything about that. All I know is that they've done software updates to make it run better.
That's the one thing that's keeping me from getting the Xbox.
Other than the fact that you can't actually find one anywhere.
True.
like I've said before,
I have no place to put it in my room.
Like I've said before, guys, until you can get a PlayStation 5 from physically off store shelves or ordered online to be delivered, same thing goes for the Xbox side of things, the current gen is still PS4 and Xbox One. Until the day comes that... What's that?
And the PS4 is still a very good system.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that services that Xbox puts on their platform completely eclipse whatever Sony's trying to do, because what Sony seems to try to do is the same thing that they've done for years. Microsoft is trying new things and seemingly making waves in a good way with it.
I agree with that.
Speaking of waves in a good way, we're finally to MLB The Show 21. MLB The Show 21 will be a day one Game Pass release for Xbox.
Oh, nice.
That means on April 20th, when it comes out in a couple weeks, spending $60 for it on Xbox One, or $70 for it on Xbox Series X. By the way, there is now an Xbox Series X version coming too the same day. You don't have to do that. You can play either version in Game Pass, and apparently, according to Microsoft's announcement, the Game Pass version includes both Series X and Xbox One versions.
It's MLB The Show 21?
Yes, for Xbox. Meanwhile, on PlayStation, the only way to play that is buy it digitally until they shut the PS4 stores down in the future and all. Considering that they've done that that they're going to be doing that with PS3, Vita, and PSP at this point, but that's for future thought. But buying either the $60 or $70 version for either PS4 or PS5 on the digital storefronts, or buying it physically for those same prices at retail stores on PlayStation.
Now, if they shut down the store for the PS4, would you still be able to play your downloaded games, or would they go away?
Apparently, you can re-download the ones on PS3 after the July date. So you will be able to download them. You just can't buy any newer stuff or anything you don't already have purchased.
Gotcha.
Apparently. So
you're totally screwed.
Yeah. So with MLB The Show 21, which one are you guys gonna get? Are you gonna pay the $60+ for the physical for either system, or are you gonna pay $15 for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which, by the way, comes with xCloud, basically the entire vault of EA games that includes Madden and FIFA and so on. And then all of the first-party games from Microsoft that are currently out, and now MLB The Show for $15 a month, and that also includes, at no extra charge, Xbox Live too. So for $15 a month for Game Pass, and it also includes Game Pass for PC. That's a lot of shit.
Oh yeah.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to spend $60 for the digital or physical version, or are you going to play it over on Xbox Game Pass on launch day, if you have an Xbox, and then see if you actually want a physical copy of it by actually playing it from there? For me, the last one that I just said, playing it from Game Pass, that's what I'm doing, because I did cancel my physical pre-order of the Xbox One version. When this announcement came, I'm like, click, well, fuck that then. At least for now. Until it's like $20 for a physical copy. But it is what it is. And finally, Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer has been canceled entirely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, first of all, considering how broken the game launched in the first place, oh, what a fucking surprise. They're not going to do the multiplayer because they got to fix the game itself? Oh, what a surprise. That's not fucking news.
You should have played the game before they released it.
My only thought with Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer game version, whatever the hell it was supposed to be, getting canceled is, what took you so long to say it? It's canceled, yeah. No shit. Look at the state of the actual game itself. You still got a lot of work to do.
This is why I hate deadlines.
But it is what it is. So
you're just released it when it was finished.
So your thoughts on everything going on in the gaming industry that I chose to tell you, and I did not tell you intentionally about the free games for PlayStation Plus and Xbox. That's going to be exclusive discussion on the Drew That Games podcast on Wednesday with Desert Nord. Tune in for that, guys. Because I did already play, I think, one of them. I'm not.
Were you able to play the multiplayer on Cyberpunk before it was shut down?
No, it never released.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were talking before Cyberpunk 2077 ever came out that they were going to release after Cyberpunk 2077 a what apparently was supposed to be, according to what was said, a separate type of game that was the multiplayer component to Cyberpunk. Now that's not even happening. Because Cyberpunk was such a hot mess from a public image standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from a functioning standpoint for CD Projekt Red. But it is what it is.
This is why to all gaming makers out there,
Yeah.
work on the game, test the game,
Yeah.
do all you can with the game before releasing the game.
But before we get to the outros for this edition of the DMG show, your thoughts on, or your official thoughts on Xbox, their current direction compared to Sony, and MLB The Show now launching day and date. By the way, that's still being labeled as a first-party game for Sony as MLB The Show, and therefore Sony has a first-party game going into Xbox Game Pass on launch day. Think about that, and now your comments.
Well, my comments is if I wasn't deep into Sony right now, I'd probably be getting an Xbox.
All of this has me questioning, for me personally, outside of my YouTube thing, which is the only reason that I still do anything with PlayStation anymore. Oh, and to do this show with Gucci. Otherwise, this show wouldn't happen unless I had him on speakerphone, on the phone itself. But other than that, yeah, I have been questioning for some time. Should I even waste my time keeping my PlayStation consoles at this point?
Well, I'd keep everything up to the PS4 and just not get the PS5.
And my answer for that is, unlike Sony, I actually care about game preservation. So the answer on that front is yes, to keep my PlayStation consoles, to keep the physical copies of my older games for those systems. And that being the only reason at this point.
Right.
Is for game preservation. Because if it comes right down to it, I am willing to sacrifice this show for integrity of gaming, as far as I'm concerned. Does that make sense to you?
Kinda, but would you still do it on the Xbox?
If you were on Xbox, then that would mean that I would have both you and Desert Nord in one place. By the way, Desert Nord does now have a stable internet connection. He's all set up with his Xbox, so now he's gonna be doing shit on Twitch like anytime now.
Okay.
And Desert Nord, if you're watching, anytime now would be nice. Anyway. So yeah, so there's. Yeah, we'll do the outro. So what have you been playing lately? Even though I'm looking at the screen, but what have you been playing other than NBA 2K21 lately?
Watching a lot of movies and.
Like what movies? Because also on the channel I also talk about movies too. So what movies have you been watching?
Convoy, Major League, and Clerks.
Clerks 1.
Yep.
Okay. In my case, I've largely just been playing Skyrim on my PC at this point. Um, Saturday after work, or Saturday night into Easter morning, I was playing a recent release that came out on Game Pass. What was it called? Let's see. Outriders.
Mm.
So stay tuned for an episode of Is It Worth It for that, which I will be filming, and that will be coming out Saturday on its normal day. That being this Saturday. But largely, it's a online multiplayer game that you can play as a single player. But it's having so many server issues that it's not really playable at this point either. Which is why I have said many times I hate games that you have to have an internet to play. And without like a stable server or internet connection, the game is unplayable. This is why I prefer offline single player games. Because if the internet goes out, oh well, I'm just going to keep playing anyway. Yeah. So if it weren't for that one issue for Outriders, this easily would be scoring high enough to be a Game of the Year nominee at this point. But considering that, it just falls a little short because of that. Otherwise, and I did this on Twitch and you can see it on this channel on YouTube, guys. Right now, it's up on this channel right now. So therefore, you could go watch and see what Outriders is for yourself too, Gucci. Especially after we get done with this, if you so choose to.
Okay.
But
so, I think next month.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna plan on making a baseball game.
Oh goody. That means that you're gonna need input from me again, aren't you?
Yep.
Oh good. You know, I just want to say this publicly at this point. I prefer just when we talk about like something shitty that has come out and how it could be made better. I just prefer doing that, you know.
Well, we can do that too with the baseball game, because we can basically take the show and make it better. I mean, it's not a bad game, but we can definitely improve upon it.
Then I think that should be let's see, May's episode. Then we're just gonna take MLB The Show and just go over what would make it better.
Right.
That's gonna be a short video.
We can also talk about other stuff too, but talk about
news that has any bearing on the two of us at that point.
Right.
So with that being said, outside of Skyrim and Outriders, have I been playing anything else? I don't think so. I did recently start a Drew play of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. That being on Twitch and obviously, like I always do, that also got ported over to YouTube for you guys to check out as well. And basically, that was just me escaping from the sewers and going through the prologue of it. So I haven't really done anything with that yet, but you can watch what's there. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a good afternoon, good night, good morning, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I'm Drew. He's Gucci. Say goodbye, Gucci.
Goodbye, Gucci.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next month in May. Bye for now.